Hi again, it's Shahir, and recently I finished my exams. Yeah, I know. Calm down, guys. Anyways, these exams kind of determine my entire future, what university I'm gonna get into, but who cares about that? Because there's a new season of The Boys. Yeah, and I decided to watch it. As you all probably know, The Boys is really highly rated, and that's all thanks to the director of the show, Eric Kripke. Now I know, I need to stay off of Reddit because people are just arguing on there for the sake of arguing. But this time, I really needed to know what people are saying about this show. And once again, I need to clear some shit up. Alright, let's start off with one of the biggest concerns of the season that I've seen and I've experienced. This season doesn't feel like the final season.
Stop. What do you mean by that?
IGN did a review of episodes 1 through to 7, saying how stuff really starts to get intense from episode 6 onwards. I'm sure by then some of the criticism will die down, but personally, I think episode 1 and 2 are great, and episode 3 and 4 definitely left more to be desired. If anything, they were kind of fillery, if that's a word. I mean, Kimiko can finally talk, which is an interesting addition, but what's the point when her dialogue is straight up arse? It's like they just forgot what her character has been through and made her spew the most dumb shit they could think of. Okay, you learned English through TikTok. That doesn't cancel out years of trauma and your brother straight up getting murdered in front of you. And I guess a lot of stuff does happen, but it's just kind of forgettable and feels sort of meh. I think I just wish the story and characters were better crafted and felt more like everything was coming together in these final episodes. Now, let's see what else the fans are saying. Wait, let's actually get a kill review for episodes 1 to 4 real quick. First up, we have A-Train. Now, A-Train was killed in the first episode, and this was done by Homelander. He was kind of the whole reason the boys formed in the first place, so him dying to Homelander instead of dying to Huey signified his stance against Vought, and I felt was a pretty fitting end for an anti-hero. We got Love Sausage, who definitely needed to go. giving him the dick stab and then choking him out was genuinely top 10 absolute cinema moments. For the simple fact that he was probably Love Sausage's #1 victim, and he was the guy who got to deal the final blow. Now, Jetstreak and Rock Hard were part of Teenage Kicks and got done by the virus created by Samir. We thought that Soulja Boy was finished too, but this guy straight up rose like Lazarus in that body bag, because apparently he's actually immortal since he has V1 in his blood, explaining why he has less grey hairs than his own son. Maverick, whose translucent son, also died to Cindy after fighting with Huey when he found out that it was actually Huey who killed his dad and not Homelander. As if this guy wasn't moving bare sus. Then Cindy gets slammed out by Starlight. Quinn was probably the most random death, since he died as soon as his character was introduced, but it's nice that it gave us some Soulja Boy backstory and the actual side effects of Compound V1, and yeah, I guess that's it. Not totally gonna say that the amount of deaths equals plot progression, but the actual impact which the deaths have do. And I feel like the director wants to be very precise in which characters he's killing off, and especially which order he kills them off in. Leading on from that, another major concern from the community is how it just doesn't feel like we're reaching the climax of the show. Like I said before, things are happening, but it just doesn't feel like it's enough. Most of the characters are finally reaching the end of their arcs, and instead of leaving a fulfilling impression, it's kinda empty. Meanwhile, characters like are just there for the sake of being there. His whole get-up is that he's a dad, basically caught in a war, and he realizes he can't be part of his family because he's a danger to them. And that's kind of where it ends. His story, his character just doesn't have anything more to it. That being said, it is visibly clear how much more delusional Homelander is getting, thinking that he is the chosen one and prophesies to have immortality and become an actual god. Meanwhile, he's still sucking on breast milk. Actually, he's bathing in it, which I thought was really weird. But it's satisfying to see him mentally break as a villain, and maybe actually go insane and start abusing his powers to his fullest potential. but the way he's written just has something that's inherently human in him, which kind of forces him back into being an almost pathetic character. Regardless, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of monster he becomes by the show's finale. Also, most of the fans are saying that the show should have ended in season 3, and the fact that no important characters died or any actual events happened in season 2 just showed how the show would devolve as time went on. It seems one of Eric Kripke's best works is suffering from one of his worst habits, the inability to let go. I mean, the same happened with Supernatural, granted that was mainly CW's fault. In this case, the fans just feel like they're being done dirty. Each season is just a dull repetition of the same motions and characters going through the same shit. Homelander is bad, he doesn't kill the boys find something that could potentially stop Homelander, whether it's a virus or this or that. Then the boys run into some new soups which we haven't seen yet, and those soups die. The boys run into Homelander, all the 7, and they slow them down, but everyone's sort of okay. The boys' plan doesn't work in the end. Huey thinks he's above everyone despite doing really bad things. Butcher does worse and worse things to the point where you're questioning whether or not this guy is even part of the good guys. And then Homelander does worse and worse things. People watching the show just want to know, when is this cycle gonna end? Kinda like me when I was revising for my exams. Except when you're watching a show, you should be glad that you get to watch another episode. Fans of the boys are just wishing they would stop cracking sex jokes and actually focus on the plot. Something that I sorely miss from the old seasons is the old Butcher and Huey dynamic. But I realize it's left out on purpose because Butcher has technically been metaphorically dead since season 4. What's left of him is kind of a Frankenstein of his worst emotions, amplified thanks to his brain tumors. And there's always been 2 Butchers. The human side of him being hurt by everything that happened around him, and the beast seeking vengeance and blood. With the first part of him dead, I guess there's only the beast that remains. He's literally a living corpse powered by hate, and he killed his own dad in I think the first or second episode of season 5, out of pure hatred. And although Ryan may have brought back some humanity to Butcher for a couple of scenes, Butcher is so hell-bent on revenge that he would sacrifice himself as well as Ryan, almost seeing it as them atoning for what they've done. My main argument is, leave Ryan alone. He's just a really messed up kid with basically no one to turn to, and if Butcher wants to go all kamikaze, then he can. Just don't emotionally manipulate a child who then almost gets beaten to death by his actual father, Homelander. That's just my personal insight on the character of Butcher, and doesn't really have too much to do with what the fans are saying. But enough reminiscing. It's clear to see that the show is definitely coming to an end. Now whether or not people are happy with the way it's coming to an end is a totally different matter, and we've talked about that. At the end of the day, all people remember is how it ends. So will the finale be good? Stay tuned for the next video, coming sometime late May. And in the meantime, watch one of my other videos. Let me know how they are. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.